Hey everybody, Unstable Gamer here, and welcome back to TMNT Mutant Madness. In this video, we have a very special guest here. We have Tony, lead game designer for the game. We're going to go ahead and talk with him, and we're just going to kind of dive into the game and just have some fun talking about the game itself. But first, before we do, if you're just now finding this channel and you want to stay up to date with this and other games, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, and welcome back. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into this. Just a quick reminder, all the links to my social media are in the description below. So we have Tony here, who is the lead game. I think I'm already messing that up, Tony. What is your title again?
Yeah, I'm the game lead for Mutant Madness. So kind of game lead's kind of the vision holder, kind of helps direct where the project's going, make sure that all the various teams and pieces are kind of tying together to make a real focused end game. Like I'm really focused on what the players are getting at the end of the line and how our vision kind of follows through everything we're doing.
Gotcha. All right, well, very cool. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. I know you guys are busy.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here.
All right, so let's go ahead. We're just going to go ahead and jump into it. We got a series of questions here, and all of you out there, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below. We'll see what we can do to get some answers and everything for them as well. If Tony can give some answers, if we can find some. Some of them we're going to have to wait for. But all right, so the first question was just kind of wanting to know a little bit about yourself. So you told us a little bit already about kind of what you do. Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, so I've been with Congregate since about 2014, back before we were actually acquired. I've been working specifically with the Synapse Game Studio. We're located in Chicago, and it's been I was the previously game lead on a game called Spellstone that Synapse and Congregate made. Then Congregate brought us in. We became part of their team. We'd always been working pretty closely with Congregate. We officially became part of them a couple of years ago. And yeah, since then I've just kind of been, eventually came on very early on in Turtles, was really excited about the project, really excited about the property, really love the Turtles and growing up with them and everything, like most of the players, most of the team. And yeah, I've been in game development for about a little over 10 years now. Oh, wow. And yeah, I started game design, started level design when I first started out, and moved on to more generalized system and game design, and then up into more of a leadership role, like vision holder.
So with your job right now, what's your favorite part of what you do?
Yeah, no. So being in the position I am, it is very easy to kind of float above a lot of the other disciplines where I'm kind of moving around trying to keep things focused. With my design background, I always have a soft spot though for content creation. Anything where I'm making a piece, especially something that's a character, a level, pieces of dialogue, some of the tutorial dialogue we've had a lot of fun with back and forth. We hope to add a lot more of those kind of quips back and forth and features coming up in the game. Right. All those little pieces that kind of bring that verisimilitude and that life to the game, all those pieces that really get to the core of what a game is. Character creation is really fun. I kind of carve out as much time as I can to sit down with our hero designer and make sure that I can kind of be as involved as I can in that, as much as I can with my timetable. But it's where my passion lies, and I can't help but keep drifting back to trying to wanting to help develop those.
Right. Very cool. Speaking of characters, so how long does it usually take for you guys to create a character from concept to getting it into the game?
We usually have multiple characters moving along at the same time. So we have a pipeline where they kind of we'll get a character moving along and then another one behind it. So there's always multiple characters going on at once. I think we're down to somewhere around about 6 weeks of actual work time put into different characters. Sometimes there's gaps in between where we'll like have a character, we'll get them to a concept stage or we'll get them to a modeled stage, and then we'll wait and then we'll do animations after a bit just because of scheduling times. But yeah, in terms of front to end, it's about 6 weeks. We really like to take the time to make sure the model and the look is exactly how we want. We spend a good time in concept just making sure that like we're bringing these characters. Some of these characters didn't exist in the 87 series.
Yeah.
So like we want to bring it back into that 87 style. So like there's a lot of like work done early on to make sure that we're being really true to that, like that feel of that 80s, even if the character didn't appear in that series.
Right. Yeah, and I love the fact that you went with the 80s series. That was a series that I grew up with and I know well, and I watched, a ton of it. I remember playing the old Nintendo Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game back in the day, back in the 80s as well. It was a great genre. I mean, well, it was a great time period. So, very cool there.
Yeah, the team's really loves that. Like I said before, all of us kind of like, we all grew up in that time with that series, and those toys especially. We've taken a lot of inspiration from the different toy lines,
Right.
to bring that kind of like, that handheld kind of like, that almost like chunky feel, like you can feel like you can pick it up and you can play with the character.
Right. Yeah. When you summon the character on with the hero bits and stuff, it looks like one of those character models from the toys. It's on a pedestal. You can spin it. It's just cool. I think you guys did awesome with that. So, with TMNT, and it's gone through many variations through the cartoons and things like that, and movies and games. How did you guys decide on the format that you settled on with this game? Because again, there's a ton of different formats for hero collectors and stuff out there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pretty long road. We were in pre-production for this game for quite a bit, where we were trying to really find where like that core of like what was going to do right by the franchise and be a really compelling game that we wanted to make. Because it's a cross section when you have a game studio of what the game studio is good at and wants to make, like what are they passionate about, and what is good for the IP, and like what IPs and what games kind of cross there. And we really passionate about TMNT and really had certain kind of games we really wanted to make. That kind of matched up. I think something early on that we landed on, that there was two kind of core pillars of Turtles to us that we really wanted to make sure were part of the game, and that was obviously the characters. The characters are the heart of the series.
Right.
But the other part was the lair, the being in the sewers, the home of the Turtles. Like whenever you think back to the cartoons, I always think back to them hanging out in the lair.
Yeah.
It was like the lair itself was almost like its own character.
Yeah.
That we didn't want to like leave out. So very early on we had those in focus. The lair itself was very early on a much larger part. There was a lot more what I would call fiddliness in terms of like the management of it. But as we were playing and we were checking out ourselves, there were a lot of things that were just not working there. And it's kind of pulling away from where we felt the fun was really happening, which was in combat with the heroes. So the lair obviously has through to the game, and I really love where the lair has kind of ended up, where it's a much more lightweight passive system. That's kind of about like building up your base and then like letting it do some work for you while you step away from the game time to time.
Yeah, that idle feature.
Yeah. And yeah, we kind of like, we definitely circled in on Hero Collector because we weren't even sure if we were going to do a Hero Collector until we got towards the end of pre-production. But we settled on Hero Collector, and the idle mechanics, we thought they were really fun. There's a really compelling piece of the game when you can like put it down, but like the game's still playing for you.
Right.
And there's something, you built up something that is churning away while you're away, and then you come back to and you get like a pile of goodies that you've kind of accumulated.
Yeah.
And we felt like the combination of those two has done really well recently with other titles, and it's been kind of proven. It was kind of it was a really natural fit for the game. Because the characters, like there's so many IPs where like places or like other pieces or like the world itself is much more of the importance.
Right.
But Turtles, it's really about the characters. The Turtles, Shredder, Splinter, April, like these core characters are just so iconic and so like the biggest piece of it. You could take Turtles and you can put them in all these wacky situations. Like you've seen them, they've gone back in time. They've gone to the Wild West. They've gone all over. And it's like, you're never confused about what it is because it's the characters. It's not where they're at or what they're doing.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I like what you did with the layer. I like building up my layer and I like collecting those resources and then using those resources to build up your roster and things like that. And then being particular because I mean, obviously you're not giving away the farm, right? So you got to go through and you got to prioritize, okay, who are my characters, who am I going to gear up first, who are they, things like that. So I like those decisions that have to be made. I like having that layer, and it looks like there's some additional rooms and stuff that can be added, and I think there's like 9 or 10 additional spots that I kind of just counted out. So really looking forward to seeing how that layer feature continues to grow and add to the game. So it's very cool. I like it. Again, I think you guys did a fantastic job with this game.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I definitely can say that the layer will see additions as we continue to develop the game. That is definitely not an if. That is a when.
Very cool. So, okay, I'm gonna in the spirit of TMNT and ninjas here, I'm gonna ninja you really quick. Quick, feel free if you could provide information. That would be cool. But we heard something we heard something about sewer surfers. Again, a question out of the blue. Anything you can say about that, or?
Yeah, so I can't give away a whole lot about Sewer Surfers quite yet. It is coming up next year.
Okay.
It is a feature on our roadmap that we are developing, and it is a slightly different way to play the game. You're still going to be going through, you're going to be doing battles. However, we've got a bit of a meta game layer that we're putting around this system. And it's going to be a system that you have like a basically once per day, you can engage in it and you see how far you can get.
Okay.
And then collect your prizes. And I'm really excited about that feature, and I'm really looking forward to when I can talk more about it. It's going to be fun.
I'm excited to hear more about it. It's named after the clan I created in the game.
I saw that we had the feature in mind when the game had launched, and we already knew this feature was on our roadmap. And I saw that clan pop up, and I actually laughed. I didn't know you had made it, but I saw it pop up, and it was I was like, oh, that's funny. They're gonna be happy when that feature comes out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it just fit. Sewer surfers, turtles. Back in the day, I think that was even that was talked about a lot back then too. So very cool. Oh, well, I appreciate the little sneak peek there into what you could say about it. Now you mentioned something about the turtles going back in time and feudal Japan and all that kind of stuff. Now this question was kind of already answered, but the question was around different variants and things like that in the game. Now we have Snow Mikey that's in the game now, but I'm assuming we're going to see more of these variants and stuff coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Having variants of the core characters is really important to us because, like I said, like I mentioned just a bit ago, the turtles have been in so many places, and they can go so many different places, have different costumes, have different roles.
Yeah.
But they're always the same. It's the characters that really shine throughout all. So we think it's really important to allow the exploration of those different areas for characters as well. And actually, since we are talking about time, I did have a quick sneak preview here of an upcoming level that we have.
Oh, very cool.
So you can see here we've got, get out of the way as much as I can here. You've got the feudal Japan, the back in time. We're going in our back in time thing. We are going to feudal Japan. So
very cool.
As you can see here, new little combat background, a little bit of a different time of day, a little bit of that dusk, nighttime ninja stealth stuff going on. So
yeah.
Really excited about where this is going. I really like the feel of this place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the artwork as well. I mean, that looks awesome. Very cool. So that's a level? Or
yeah, it's going to be combat background, yeah.
Very nice. Very cool stuff. Well, thanks for showing that.
Yeah, no problem. And I bumped my camera as I moved to the side there.
I do it all the time. All right, cool. So so this I don't know how much something like this is works towards a game like this, but in Hero Collectors and things like that, you have legendary type characters, right? Where you're putting a team of characters together, required characters, a specific team, that you're running through a series of quests in order to unlock this legendary character, which is typically a pretty powerful character and takes some time to collect because you gotta get the required team together. Does this game lend to to that mechanic at all, or?
It's definitely a possibility, though it is not something we currently have planned out on our roadmap. We do know that really cool, aspirational, and like characters you can work towards collecting is something we really want. And the 5-star characters we have now are not going to ultimately be that goal. That's not how we're going to. There may be somewhere we release like that. For instance, Snow Mikey is actually currently going to be available in our Winter Wonderland event that is starting. So like we're going to release characters in ways like that, but those characters will make their way to the players in more normal means later. We've done it in other games. We've done a lot of our background is like card collecting games with like Spellstone and Animation Throwdown, and we've done very similar things in there. And players have really liked them. So I do think there is a very big possibility that we do something like that, but nothing currently on the roadmap for me to share.
Gotcha. All right. Well, cool. Well, it's something to keep an eye out for as the game continues to progress. So next we're gonna talk about clans a little bit. So we have clans. Originally, really the only benefit to the clan was to contribute towards the battle pass, which helps towards ooze generation and things like that. We now have clan clash, so that going through the PvP mode, you're working your way up in ranks and earning rewards that way. We also heard something about clan siege.
Yeah, absolutely. Clan Siege is a new feature we have coming up. It is going to be early in 2021.
Okay.
It is another piece of the puzzle that we are trying to build out later game features that really drive, once you get into the game, you get a little bit further, wanting to give players ways to really team up with their friends and compete against other people and kind of like prove their strength. Clan Siege is going to be like our premier event for clan competition. So Clan Clash, as I'm sure you and the viewers are somewhat familiar, is a point scoring on top of our Dimension Clash system. That scores points for your clans and lets you compare scores that way. In Clan Siege, you will actually be matched up against another clan, and you'll do battles in a period of time against specifically members of that clan. So you'll have so many battles. You'll do those battles in your time period and score points, and then whichever clan ends up scoring more points and winning more battles wins that match. And then we rematch people again. So if you're doing well, you win. You'll be matched with another clan that won. And then you'll fight again. You'll kind of like climb up, and after the end of this will stretch over a handful of days. And at the end of the event, we'll have a ranking based on how clans have done against each other, ideally with one clan on top in your group, and kind of filtering down from there. But it's really interesting because we wanted to not only allow you specifically to fight. There's something very different about fighting specifically. This is the clan, these are the people in it, and I'm battling against them. That head-to-head combat really is compelling. And you also you start to get to know other clans that are around your power, and there starts to be this kind of broadens the community too. Of like seeing, oh, I know those guys. I've seen them on the Discord, and we battled them last time there was a clan siege. And there's those kind of recognition. You start recognizing the same people. Oh, it's that guy who I couldn't beat him last time. I'm going to get him this time. Like those rivalries start to build. It's really good. It's really healthy for the game because it kind of like broadens that like social bubble in the game outside of just the 20 people in your clan to like, okay, well, who are we competing with? Who are we like strategizing with, or what are we like doing here? And it kind of like opens up a whole new world, an aspect to the game that we really, really want to see Turtles kind of evolve into.
Yeah, definitely. So that's very cool. So I've played that kind of mechanic in some other games, right? And there's a couple different formats. So is this going to be just a one-on-one, or I mean, I've seen a format where you've got 3 alliances fighting all at the same time against everybody right there?
Yeah, it will be one clan versus one clan.
Okay.
There's definitely formats we'd like to explore, and we've seen in other games we've done in the past, systems like this have been very like fan favorites. I'd like to, once we get out the first version, we have 1v1s. I could see us just doing evolutions of this to do variants in the future.
Right.
There's like a lot of space here that I would really like to explore. Definitely based on like what players are interested in. Like if players are really like love certain systems, we want to build more of that because we want to make the game that players want to engage with.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I'm excited about that. You said that's coming out early next year?
Yep.
Very
yeah.
cool.
Sometime in first quarter.
Gotcha. So that sometime between January and March. January, February, March. Yes. So very cool. Definitely going to look forward to that. Just talking with people in the game and within my own clan and on Discord and things like that, I know people are pretty excited about that feature. So, all right. So next question here just has to do with character progression and stuff. So kind of just curious. We have character levels, dimension levels, things like that. We have the dojo and equipment that help strengthen your character. These are the base mechanics to character progression in the game right now. Is there anything else kind of coming down the pipe that you're looking at? Or are you guys pretty happy with that right now?
Yeah, we think that it is a very solid base in terms of the number of pillars you kind of outlined there. One thing we do have coming down the pipe, I can't give too many details right now, but we are looking to expand the equipment system.
Okay.
To give it a little bit more pieces to work with, some more collection aspect, and more ways for you to kind of like build up your pieces rather than just collecting them from events. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of details to share right now, but that's the next place where we're kind of looking in is like expanding that pillar of progression. I don't think that, at least not in the near future, we'll add any like general terms of progression. And then when I say that, I mean for like coming into the game, you're only exposed to so many early on.
Right.
However, once we get later in the game, players have been playing for a couple of months. I could certainly see us maybe at later this 2021 or maybe the next year or maybe the year after that, depending on how things are going, adding more late game features that are more about different ways to progress that are very specific to those players. But keeping that, we want to make sure that the core that we have right now just remains fun, engaging, and like, oh my God, words, just straight to the point, just like really focused. Focused was the word I wanted.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, as you said, as people get more time under their belts with this game and stuff, you need to continue to add something to the end of that game for people to continue to work on, right? To continue to develop their rosters, whether it's characters or new progression or something like that. So it makes perfect sense. Absolutely. Very cool. So looking forward to that. I like the fact that instead of adding something new fairly quickly, you're looking at expanding an existing mechanic. So like with the equipment and stuff like that. So that's cool to hear. So Channel 6 News is something that was just recently added into the game. Well, recently within the last, probably few weeks, within the last month. How are you guys feeling about that game mechanic working? See, I can't get my words out either. So
I think overall we are happy with Channel 6 Rush overall. I think that the resetting nature of it definitely kind of like gives a steady stream of content for players to kind of digest per day. Right. I do think that there's definitely room for improvement that we want to address. Particularly, we know that there are a handful of players who have gotten either stuck at the level where they reset to or have kind of hit like more of a wall where our intention is to give you 10 plus battles a day.
Right.
And we know that some players are not able to get their 10 battles, or even some, in the worst cases, sometimes they can't get their one battle. And that's pretty top of mind for us. But overall, the progression through and the rewards you're getting from it and the kind of like gap it fills overall, we're pretty happy. Before Channel 6 came out, we had a definite kind of gap of like hero bit rewards for players. It was very difficult kind of like get up and get your individual heroes. And we wanted to like fill that gap. It was definitely a kind of a piece that was missing. And so that really felt really strong. And in our original roadmap, Channel 6 Rush was a feature that we were looking to release later on. We wanted to do more clan things like Clan Siege beforehand. But we shifted that around when we saw how people were progressing through the missions and how much they were really digging the single-player content. And given that it was built on such a similar structure as the missions, we decided to shift it around because it'd be a lot quicker to get the content into the player's hands rather than trying to do it in what we thought might be the proper order that we had designed early on. We just recognized that players wanted more content. Yeah. So we kind of prioritized, okay, which quality piece that we have coming up can we get out quickest? And Channel 6 just used a lot of systems we had already built up where Clan Siege has a lot of things we have to build out from scratch. So we shifted it around and got it out.
I like, so early on, so I've been playing since beta, since soft launch, right? And I know that during early conversations and stuff, and when the game launched early in its launch, in its global launch, you had mentioned as far as hero bits and things like that, it was difficult to kind of build that roster there, and especially with the 4-star. I think adding this, like you said, to help fill that gap, and I think it's more fluid as far as collecting your heroes and getting those dimension levels and strengthening them. I think it really has filled that void that was there, because 4-stars heroes, they're not coming left and right. It's happening enough, at least with these 4-stars, it's happening enough where you're not waiting months, you know? I remember when I first... Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, previously, the 4-stars in particular, there was quest rewards and opening duplicate copies of 3-stars. Right. And that was like, you were just opening your 3-stars and you're getting your 25 at a time. Yep. And you'd get there. Yep. I got a first couple 4-stars doing that way, but it wasn't engaging. Right. Like, it's fun. The duplicates is fun as like an extra bonus of like, oh, I've already opened all these, but I'm making progress, even though I'm still opening these because I'm making progress. But yeah, Channel 6 Rush definitely filled that role of like, just, it feels like a steady stream. I'm actively doing these missions and beating these characters, and then I'm seeing my like progress slowly get to that next 4-star that I'm really excited to get to.
Yeah, definitely. So recently, and you've talked about this roadmap that you have, and we've been able to go and take a look at kind of what's on the horizon of this game. Can we expect to continue to see that roadmap get updated? Is that something that you guys plan on keeping the players up to date on?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to communicate as much as we can because, like I said, we are excited about a lot of things coming up. There's always that tightrope you're walking, though, as a game developer of wanting to talk about things, but don't want to talk about them too soon because so often in game development, things have to change or move or things, and we don't want to disappoint anybody. We don't want to say, oh, this is coming out like next, and then, oh, wait, no, it has to like next, and then we have to move it or something has to change. I think that what we did, especially around our seasons and what our headliner features and development are for seasons, I think that we'll definitely see roadmaps that have those coming out in the future. And as much as we can, we want to share upcoming features and sneak peeks and things that we can share as they're coming up. Because as you get closer and closer, things get more and more solid. It's like trying to compress. You're making features like trying to take gas and compress it into a solid, and you're just like, when it's at the gas form, you don't know like how long it's going to take, what's going to happen. Maybe the gas all goes away and you have to start over.
Right.
But yeah, I think a roadmap in some form is definitely going to stay relevant. We definitely want to keep it up to date. And we've got a dedicated community team to help us out with that, because sometimes when you're developing the game, it's so hard to manage that. Those unsung heroes of the community team over there are definitely like being that glue between the players and the devs, where the devs can get in head down mode, and the community team helps like keep us in touch with that player base that sometimes is hard to maintain those relationships.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the roadmap, I completely understand, because you want to get people excited about what's coming into the game, but you don't want to overcommit and then let people down because something happened, right? Maybe something outside of your control or whatever. It's always cool to be able to refer back and kind of see what's coming up on the horizon for something for the game. So I think that's awesome that you guys do that. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. I'm glad that you and other community members enjoy it. Like, it's what do we do it for?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
All right. So last question I have is just, so where we are with the game. I know we have the holidays and stuff like that right now, but what are the top priorities for the devs right now? What are your guys' top priorities?
So the main pillar for 2020 as we're coming to the end of the year is just making sure that we've gotten to launch, and we need to make sure our fundamentals, our foundation of the game is rock solid, because we want this game to be expanded upon over the years and years that it is out.
Right.
But to do that, you need to make sure that you have this solid foundation that you can build from. So making sure we spend a lot of time early on making sure that our progression, our collection aspects, our mission aspects, our battle, our combat was all very tight and well put together. So that as we build out these features, like we have Clan Siege and Sewer Surfers and everything coming out,
Yeah.
that we're building on a foundation that we don't have to keep going back and iterating on substantially.
Right.
There will always be small iterations. We're always making things better. That's game development. You always have something. Oh, just one more thing. Just
Right.
one more tweak. Just one more little. But yeah, the main focus for the team is making sure that we have closed out that solid foundation. Looking ahead, we're really looking to make sure that we have a healthy end game balance for players. Clan Siege is the first step towards that. But like just making sure that players that get multiple months into our game are still engaged as they were on week one.
Right.
We want them to still have things that they're excited about, things that they're chasing after, they're collecting to get, they're progressing towards, and things they're getting.
Right.
Every week, every month, every couple months, depending on how big the goal is, how lofty how high you're shooting that arrow up that you're trying to get.
Right.
Yeah, that's really where our focus is now. I think that as we hit 2021, we're going to start shifting off of the fundamentals and looking at those expansions. So it's like features that kind of like satellite around the main game that kind of like let you play those like reprieves from the regular game where you can go and do something a little bit different and then come back to the main game. Because those are really important to like just give like a breath of fresh air every now and then of like, oh, I collected this thing. How do I turn it on its head and do something different with it? Oh, that's neat. Okay, back to the main game.
Yeah.
Because those moments there's a lot of surprise and like a lot of like exploration that's really fun. That like core gameplay tenements that are just necessary to making like a really beloved and long-lasting game.
Yeah. You know what? That's what I have for questions. Is there anything before we end and sign off? Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, just hope I have imparted my excitement. We've got, I know Season 2 is currently ongoing, but I'm really excited for the upcoming Season 3 in January. We've got our time travel season coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Really think players are going to love some of the things we have coming up in that. And we've got a lineup of seasons coming up throughout 2021 that are really excited about and can't wait to talk more about.
We can't wait to see it and play it. So we're definitely looking forward to that. All right. Well, hey, I just want to say thanks again for taking some time out of your day. Again, I know that you guys are busy and just taking the time to answer these questions. I think we all get the gist of how busy you guys are too, just trying to make this game the best that it can be and keep the players engaged from day one to end game. I think that's absolutely fantastic. And again, I think you guys have done a fantastic job with the game, having a lot of fun with it for sure. So thank you again for your time. And that's all, everybody. That's what I had for you today. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure you hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time. Tony, take care. Thank you again.